Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I am doing a oracle reading using the Earth and Bone Oracle Cards deck by Sirian Shadow. I haven't used this deck in a while, so I figured I would bring it out. And today's card is number 37, Shadow, which represents wholeness, integration, repressed emotions, and mystery. So from what I've read, this card is basically about like embracing the darker side of yourself, not to get in touch with your inner villain, so to speak, or your villain side of things. It's to be complete. You know, we can't have good without evil, we can't have darkness without light, and vice versa, you know. So this card is basically saying, you know, acknowledging your shadow self and embracing it. You know, certain trauma or stressors of the past have no effect on you now because you're acknowledging where they come from. And you are acknowledging, you know, that you have a little bit of a dark side, and that in order to maintain a balance, that dark side is actually okay. You know, I'm feeling a little called out because I learned a few things about a previous coworker, you know, and she wasn't a good person. You know, she just wasn't. And just realizing that, you know, I can't let some of the shit that she said to me affect me in the here and now, unless it's to like drive myself to become a better version of myself and better at my day job, things like that. So yeah, you know, this card basically is saying, you know, you are absorbing the shadow half of yourself as one being. The aspect of yourself that you'd rather keep concealed emerges and surfaces, forcing you to face it. You know, we all have a dark side. Okay? That dark side may be as simple as crossing a bound or brain mouth words. That dark side may represent, you know, sticking to a boundary. And when somebody tries to violate that boundary, your shadow self comes out and says, no, we're not doing this. We are not having this conversation. We are not doing this action, whatever. But this card is basically saying, you know, you and your shadow self are now whole or working to become whole. And you're learning to work together, basically. Okay? So, yeah, that was today's card. Again, we drew Shadow, which represents wholeness, integration, repressed emotions, and mystery. So, that's the short of it. If that resonated with you, great. Or take what resonates, you know, and ignore the rest. You know, ignore what is just noise to you, you know, things like that. So, anyway, hopefully you have a good day, and let's get the weekend off to a good start. Bye.